to start the broadcast?
Yeah.
Thank you. Can you let us know when it's live? Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome everyone to this evening's meeting of South Oxfordshire District Council Cabinet. My name is David Lorraine. I'm the leader of the council, and I'll be chairing this evening's meeting. Members of the cabinet are here either in person or online, and we are supported by officers also, mainly online, but some in the room who will make themselves known at the appropriate time. We don't have anybody here who doesn't know where the fire exits are, so I won't go into too much detail there. Item 1 on the agenda, Chair's announcements. I just want to say a very quick word about our local plan. Just that we have been in correspondence with the inspector. All of that is published on our website, which I would urge you to look at. I won't go into any more detail here because we've got a very long meeting, but everything is published and available on our website. Apologies for absence. In fact, shall we just take a roll call, Becky, and that will push out who's here, who's not?
Yes, of course. So I'll go through in alphabetical order. If members can please confirm if they're present in the meeting room or online. So I'll start with Councillor Peter Paul Barker.
Present in the room.
Thank you. Councillor Maggie Filipova Rivers.
Present online.
Thank you so much. Councillor Georgina Heritage.
Present in the room.
Thank you. Councillor Sam James Laurie.
Present in the room.
Thank you. Councillor Lee Rawlins isn't here.
He's expected, suspect he's stuck in traffic, so we'll note when he arrives.
Thank you, David. And obviously Councillor David Lorraine.
Here in the room.
Thank you. Councillor Anne-Marie Simpson.
Present in the room.
Thank you. And Councillor Tony Morgan.
Present in the room.
Thank you.
Right then, as I said, long agenda, so let's crack on. Minutes of the previous meeting, that's the cabinet meeting held on the 24th of July. Is everyone happy that I signed those as a correct record? I propose that.
Yes.
Would someone like to second? Mr. Morgan, everybody happy?
Yes.
General nodding. Thank you. Item 4 is declarations of interest. Does anyone have any items of interest that they need to declare on items on the agenda? I'm assuming not, but obviously if anything occurs to you during the course of the discussion, then please draw our attention to at that point. Councillor Rawlins has just entered the room. Councillor Rawlins, you don't have any declarations of interest?
I do.
Okay, good. Item 6 is public participation. I understand we have one public speaker, which is Councillor Paul Cole of Tame Town Council, who wishes to speak on item 10 of the Section 106 funding request with Tame Town Council. Are you there, Councillor Cole?
Should be with us online.
Yes, I am.
Okay. If you'd like to switch your camera on, and if you'd like to make your statement now, if you're ready.
Can everybody hear me and see me? Right. Good evening. I'm here to represent Tame Town Council and also Tame Youth Projects on why the S106 funding request should be approved. Tame has grown significantly over the last 20 years, yet the infrastructure for the community has not kept up pace with the size of the town. The town currently has no large flexible community space, being one of the only towns in South Oxfordshire to not have such a facility. Tame also has no provision for young people to come together in a safe space. Tame Youth Projects are the only organisation in the town to provide a full-time youth worker. they are currently limited in their provision by the lack of a permanent set of premises. This building will enable young people to access a safe space and gather support on a regular basis. Flexibility has been built into the design to enable a wide spectrum of community use of the building at the same time. Southern Road Recreation Ground, where the building will be sited, is currently subject to a considerable amount of antisocial behaviour, and its low usage by the general public and its lack of visibility from the main road contributes to this. The project will provide a social hub for the parents of young families all the way through to elderly community residents in such things as a dementia cafe. Tame Town Council has demonstrated their commitment to this project by forward funding £350,000 to enable the project to get to this point. The community of Tame have voiced the need for such a facility via numerous events and consultations since 2012, including Lord William's School and the primary schools. Approval tonight will enable Tame Town Council and Tame Youth Projects to move forward in other applications for sources of funding to provide this project to conclusion. Just as an aside, this is the largest and most complex project undertaken by Tame Town Council since the building of the town hall over 100 years ago. We look forward to your support tonight and being able to move forward and complete this building in the next 18 months to 2 years. Open to any questions.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Councillor Cowell?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay, in which case, with the Cabinet's permission, I'm going to move the agenda around and take that item next, and then we'll come back and do the other items. Is everyone happy if I do that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Obviously, when we've done that, Councillor Cowell, you're welcome to stay and listen to the rest of the Cabinet meeting, but I suspect you might have better things to do.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so the recommendation is on page 360 of your pack. I'm going to propose this. It would normally be Councillor Barker, but because his connections with Tame and his involvement, presumably with this project going back, it's probably better.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to propose it just to show that there's no conflicts here. The officers have given me some speaking notes to introduce it, but frankly, Councillor Cowell has said most of what I was going to say. So I'll just draw your attention to the recommendation, which is to create a budget of £779,000, which is funded by Section 106, and then, subject to us approving that, approves funding to Tame Town Council towards this project, and agrees to enter into a funding agreement with Tame Town Council regarding the terms of the Section 106 funding, approves payment to Tame Town Council of £742,000, and agrees to pay Tame Town Council the balance plus indexation once the equivalent funds have been received from the development. So that's. I didn't read every word of the recommendation, but I think that is the thrust of it. Can I, if I propose that, can I have a seconder? Councillor Heritage, would you like to speak now?
I can speak now because it doesn't need to be a long speech at all, because for me it's quite straightforward. I wanted to second because I think this is important for any town, but I am local to Tame. I understand the growth that Tame has undertaken in recent years, and the struggle for infrastructure, that the infrastructure hasn't moved with it. I understand the need for community space, and I appreciate the cohesion that such a centre would bring. And I think that's hugely important. And I think that's all I really need to say about it. But I was very keen to support this.
Thank you. any other contributions on this? Councillor Morgan.
The 779 is the capex costs of the scheme. Is there any OPEX part of the within that figure?
We have an officer online who might answer that. Mark.
It's all capital. It's all capital funding as required by the Section 106 contributions.
And presumably it would be looking to be self-funding. Councillor Barker.
Yeah, the total project costs specified as outlined in the paper is 4.5 million.
Anything else, Maggie?
Just really quickly to say, Councillor Cowell, just incredible effort. It sounds like a very, very exciting project. I'm really supportive of the proposal here, and I just want to wish you the best of luck in the next stages. And I hope you, hopefully, if everybody else agrees, wishing you all the best to do it speedily. So that the community can benefit. It's very exciting. I'm very jealous.
Okay, and then move to a vote now. Can I see those in favour of the proposal?
Unanimous.
That's everyone. Thank you. Hope you're happy with that, Councillor Cowell. And
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the support and have a great evening. I'll say goodbye now. Thank you very much again. Goodbye.
If we go back to the agenda, item 7 is adoption of the North Wessex Downs National Landscape. I have been given a quick note from Councillor Tinsley, who's a member of the board of North Wessex Downs, who urges us to fully support this. He was involved in the discussion about it. In terms of introducing it, Councillor James Lorry, do you want to introduce that?
Yes, if I may. So this report asks Cabinet to adopt the North Wessex Downs National Landscape Management Plan 2025 to 2030. The new management plan builds on the existing NWD management plan that the Council adopted in 2019. The existing plan is well respected by officers and is used to help inform decisions made by the Council. However, the existing plan is now becoming outdated and needs a review. The Council has been involved in the creation of the new plan throughout, with the input at all 4 stages of production. First, there was an initial consultation with officers in November-December 2024, which set out the timetable for the review of the management plan and asked for a high-level view of the existing management plan and the key areas for revision and addition. The second, the Council then contributed to a review of the existing management plan in February 2025. 3, officers were involved in the drafting of Chapter 5 Biodiversity and Nature Recovery. 4, the Council then submitted a formal response to the publication consultation of the plan in April 2025. The final adoption draft, which you have before you today, has responded positively issues raised during the public consultation and has been amended to take on board many of the comments submitted by the Council. In summary, the main changes in the management plan are reference to the strengthened duty on relevant authorities under S85 of the Countryside and Rights of Way Act 2000, as amended by the Levelling Up and Regeneration Act 2024, highlighting the increased importance of protected landscape management planning. A new set of overarching principles to guide use of the management plan by everybody involved in the North Wessex Downs National Landscape. Substantive new section added on climate change in Chapter 7, Climate and Natural Resources. A much stronger emphasis on nature recovery with reference to the government's environmental improvement plan and county level local nature recovery strategies.
Okay, and the recommendation is that we adopt
recommendations that we adopted.
I'm happy to second that. Does anyone wish to speak on the issue? In which case, would you like to say anything in closing?
No.
In which case, can I see those in favour? That's everyone. Thank you. Next item, I think it's still you, Councillor James Lorry, is item 8, approval for publication of the Oxfordshire Local Nature Recovery Strategy. And I think it's important we clarify, we are just approving it for publication. This is it's not our document. It's been produced by a consortium from the Love Nature Partnership. Would you like to introduce it?
Yes, if I may. This report asks members to approve the publication of the Oxfordshire Local Nature Recovery Strategy. Production of the LNRS is a requirement of the Environmental Act. Oxfordshire County Council is a responsible body for producing the Local Nature Recovery Strategy with South Oxfordshire and other districts. The the City Council and Natural England all supporting authorities. The Oxfordshire LNRS has been developed over a 2-year period and has involved a significant amount of consultation and input from a wide variety of specialist stakeholders. Officers and members from the council have had substantive input into the development of the strategy over this 2-year period. The mapping and priorities were initially developed using a specialist software application called Systematic Conservation Planning. This was then refined by input from many local experts. The development of the LNRS involved a comprehensive public engagement exercise with a series of workshops and presentations, including presentation to our CIAP. This was followed by a formal public consultation exercise which generated over 2,100 responses, which have been reviewed and used to improve the final version of the LNRS which you see before you today. The LNRS consists of 3 documents and an online map. Number 1, the description of the strategy area. This provides a generic introduction to the LNRS and how it was developed. It then goes on to describe the state of the existing habitats and species populations found in the county and identifies the pressures that are impacting them. This leads on to the identification of priorities for action in the county. 2. Statement of biodiversity priorities. This identifies the habitats that are the priority within the county and the specific measures that need to be taken to create, enhance and restore these habitats within the county. 3. Species priority list. Identifies a list of 55 species or groups of species that are the priority for the conservation in the county. These are species that need specific measurements, specific measures that are not captured in the habitat actions identified in the Statement of Biodiversity Priorities. 4. The map. The map identifies where the habitat measures would be delivered. The network covers just over 40% of the county. The map also includes measures that can be delivered in a wider countryside outside of the mapped area of the LNRS, in recognition of the need to do more for wildlife everywhere. In summary, the production of the LNRS has been a genuine collaboration between the County Council and many stakeholders and individuals who have a substantive input into the shaping the final output. I therefore recommend to members that we agree the publication of the strategy as set out in the report.
Thank you. And yeah, I was previously the council's representative on the Local Nature Partnership, so I've had some involvement with this document at an earlier stage. So I'd be happy to second that. I should ask, has anyone got questions for Councillor James Lorry before we, Councillor Lauren?
I think it's a fantastic piece of work. I'm just really anxious to see it be delivered and funded. And so there are a couple of things playing in my mind, whether the mapping of this will ultimately be interactive and be dynamic in that sense, so that it grows and evolves over time. In terms of the funding and stuff, obviously, if we're going to try and do things like S106 or whatever, it has to be proportionate and fair in relation to individual sites. But I wonder whether we can then begin to put a sort of funding plan behind this, where we can actually work out and establish what the sort of funding required to deliver it, to provide perhaps new areas of habitat, to enhance the habitats as is envisaged in the report, and really have the opportunity to make this enormous change, which is strategized in the document, but what it takes to actually deliver it. So that would be my question.
I think the answer is yes. The purpose of the document is to give us information which then allows the various agencies that are involved to know where recovery work is to be done. I don't know if Councillor Denbury would like to add to that.
That's pretty much spot on.
And just so this evening wasn't for nothing, I don't know if Mr. Lamb would like to.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of is the mapping dynamic? Well, if you look at the online map, it's extremely dynamic. You go down to field parcel level and understand what measures are being recommended on that level, and there are options there for landowners they might want to choose. In terms of it can't be changed because the legislation says that the LNRS is published and has to be reviewed between every 3 and 10 years. So you can't actually physically change the map and the strategy for between 3 and 10 years. So it'll be for a future authority to review that map further down the line. In terms of funding, that's the big question really. So how is it funded? At the moment, we're hoping it will be funded from a wide variety of sources. So change it, or the environmental land management schemes that the government runs being focused and targeted at those areas. New forms of sort of money coming into for nature markets through things like biodiversity net gain, possibly through nature-based carbon sequestration and other new nature markets that are developing around natural flood management and things like that. So that bit is less clear, and the government hopefully will come up with some direct funding as well to help the delivery of this thing. But that's really the next stage of the project, is to work out exactly how this thing can be delivered.
In my understanding, this is not currently on the shopping list of things that apply for CIL, so it would have to be something quite distinct to.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt that planning gain will be the main funder of this. It might fall.
No, I wasn't envisaging it was going to do all of this.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Thank you for that reply. Councillor Simpson.
Yeah, I'd actually like to take us back to what's in front of us, the report. And actually, I think Dominic can contradict me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, it was one of the most inclusive processes that perhaps the team has ever been involved in. And so it really reflects the input equally from all the partners involved. And I think that's really important in terms of what's come out of it. And so I'm quite excited because it seems to have been a really good process, and it was certainly subject to public engagement, workshops, webinars, public consultation. And something that I have to say really, it's one of those early things that from when I started doing work as a councillor and attending back in the Oxfordshire Strategic Vision days, we talked about wildlife. I remember a presentation about wildlife corridors, and this one seems to start to introduce that network of wildlife corridors, and it doesn't just end with the borders of South Oxfordshire. It does look at neighbouring counties, because it's obviously an Oxfordshire scheme, so it's not just even Oxfordshire. It goes, it's contiguous. Is that the right word? Contiguous with other counties as well. So I'm really hoping that this does go forward and doesn't just end up a piece of work that sits there. but gets taken forward. And the way it was produced gives me much hope that it will actually deliver as well in the future. So thank you for all the hard work from our team that input into it.
I see Councillor Philippa Rivers has her hand up.
Yeah, I just really to Dominic and the team, I wanted to say it is a really fantastic piece of work that you have obviously inputted enormously into. And it's been such a collaborative process. I know some of my kind of tiny conservation groups have also been part of feeding in and feeding back. And I'm really, really glad that we're finally there. This is notwithstanding some of the kind of funding challenges that I'm sure we'll experience, but we have to start somewhere. And I think this is a really, really good and important milestone and really worth celebrating. I'm sure that this will be something that that you will be very proud of being a part of.
Okay, Councillor James Lorry, do you want to sum up?
Not really sure there's anything to sum up. The officers have done an absolutely fantastic job. Everybody's worked together brilliantly, and going forward, this is going to be absolutely fantastic for the natural biodiversity of our area.
Yes. I would say that the group that's put this together, I've never felt more out of my depth. People there who are experts in individual flowers or individual pieces of chalk. And so I've every confidence that they're doing the right thing. Can I see those in favour? Again, that's everyone. Thank you. Move on to item 9. Thanks, Dominic. Got that. Item 9 is Treasury Management outturn for 24-25. Councillor Barker.
Thank you. Yes, so this is looking back at the 24-25 results. This is the final report with the go to council. Of course, so I don't propose to say very much tonight. You can see in the summary that against the budget of 6.7, the council earned 8.9. So that's obviously the right direction. And so not a lot more to say on that. In terms of what we need to do tonight, we need to obviously note what's in the report. We need to approve the outturn reports, which I would like to recommend that we do, and also approve the actual potential indicators, all of which are well within the limits. So I'd like to recommend those two.
Okay, if I formally second, are there any questions for Councillor Barker on this?
I do have a couple of points. One thing, so
are they points or questions?
Sorry?
Are they points or questions?
One's a point, one's a question. So I'll start with the question, shall I?
Sure.
I know the rates here going out into the future for the Public Works Land Board and so forth are diminishing. I think that's turned around a bit since then. Yeah. Longer rates.
Nodding from the finance office.
Yeah.
And the point?
The point was.
I'm assuming no one else has any more.
Not yet. The point, so that you'll be shocked to hear. I'd like to see somewhere in this the inflation rate that applied during the relevant period, because that's a relevant thing to understand. We've gained a return on this money, but the purchasing power of it fell during the period. So we need to see those two things together. Obviously, the main point of this is to gather in the income and properly deploy our holdings, which we've done very well. Yeah.
Finance officer will take that on board. Okay. Any summing up?
What to say?
In which case, can I see those in favour? Do I have to take these recommendations separately? Because one is that Cabinet notes the report and is satisfied that the activities carried out are in accordance with Treasury Management Strategy. So can I see those in favour of noting this report? That's everyone. And then we have to recommend to Council that we approve the Treasury Management Outturn Report 24-25 and approve the actual 24-25 prudential indicators within the report. Can I see those in favour of that? That's everyone. Okay. Move on to, we've done item 10, so we'll move on to item 11, which is the Hazel Trading Estate. And this is Councillor Barker to introduce this. I should say there are items of this that if we want to discuss, we will need to go into confidential session because they're commercially sensitive. If you're intending to discuss something which is commercially sensitive, can you indicate that to me? Otherwise, I think we stay in open session. The monitoring officer is about to tell me, no, he's fine. He's always nervous when he switches his camera on. Okay, so we'll crack on. If we can deal with this in public session, that would clearly be better in terms of transparency. But if we do need to go into confidential session, then we will. Over to you, Councillor Barker.
Thank you. Yes, so I'm just going to speak to the public section now. So I'm pleased to present this item on the delivery of a new waste vehicle depot at the Hazy Trading Estate. As we all know, it's a key infrastructure project that is critical to the council delivering on its strategic priorities and objectives. And by way of background, Cabinet and Council approved the purchase of the land, the Hazy Trading Estate, in November and December 2024. And that was in response to the fact that the site which we currently use, Culham number 1, is allocated for development and will not be available too much longer to us. Since those decisions by Cabinet and Council, officers have made significant progress, including completing the purchase of the site, developing detailed designs for the new buildings on the site to replace the old ones which are there at the moment, which went through the Royal Institute of British Architects I see here, and submitting a full planning application and running a procurement process for design and build. The planning application was submitted in June and presented to Planning Committee this week, who granted planning permission subject to completion of legal agreements and discharge of a whole range of conditions. In terms of the procurement, 5 bids were received, but after assessment, only one of those was a compliant bid. However, that bidder did score highly on quality, especially in terms of social value, carbon reduction, and energy efficiency. Sadly, and the reason why this is on our agenda tonight, the bid did exceed the original budget. It included previously excluded costs, and that's part of the reason why, such as upgrading electricity network, the biodiversity net gain, and the improvements to be made to retain buildings, so the additional building work. So officers have reviewed that bid thoroughly and are confident to recommend it. There is some ongoing review of the electricity requirements, but for the moment, we're comfortable with that. So in terms of the financials, the original budget, capital budget for the works was 13.6 million. The latest projections based on the bid indicate a requirement of 15.8. So hence needing to come to Cabinet and to Council for an increase in budget. And that increase covers both the increased construction costs of the bid, the discharge of all the planning conditions, which has proved more costly than first expected, and any additional fees and contingencies. So this report recommends increasing the capital budget envelope by 2.3 million. Now, this is a joint project, South and Vales, so our share of that increase is exactly half at 1.15 million. I think there's not much more to say on this other than the recommendations that are sought at this stage are that we recommend to Council to proceed with that increase in the capital budget as outlined, 50% of that being South Oxfordshire's share, with the objective of making this site operational within the time frame that is required. which, as I think we all know, is heading rapidly towards us. And subject to council approval of the increased budget, to award the design and build contract to the preferred bidder to deliver the vehicle depot. There's another recommendation to delegate to the head of development corporate landlord, in consultation with the head of finance and the head of legal, to approve terms and conditions to award a contract to the DNO, the district network operator, for an upgraded electricity connection. That seems to come up in pretty much everything we do now, doesn't it? We need a better electricity connection. And finally, to delegate to the head of development corporate landlord, in consultation with head of finance, head of legal, the authority to secure a temporary vehicle depot site, if necessary, as a contingency plan. And that's in connection with the timescale delivery risk of any large project such as this.
Do we have a second there? Councillor Morgan? Do you want to speak now, or?
I think Councillor Barker has pretty much summed up the reasons why we need to spend money.
Are there any questions for Councillor Barker? Yes.
Some small ones. I think we were hoping that there was quite a good site for electricity. Obviously, it's cost us a little bit more for that enhancement. Can we, in this section, cover the cost of what that enhancement for electricity is, and what's the extra benefit that we get from the enhancement we've made? I have some other questions.
I believe the figures are in the exempt paper that you've got.
Right. Sorry, my machine's died.
In terms of the enhancement, I think that is a technical matter. But,
no, okay.
I don't know if Andrew Busby on the line.
He's online.
Yeah.
Good evening,
Andrew, I don't know if
yeah.
there's anything you can say about the technical enhancement of electricity. I must admit that whatever you say will probably go over my head, but I'm happy for you to say whatever you can to Councillor Rawlings to satisfy him.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Chair. So it's more to clarify, Cabinet, that we still await the final quotation from the District Network Operator, SSEN, to firm up the cost for the electricity upgrade. The existing capacity at the site is 1,000 kVA. We wish to have 2,000 kVA, so to double that. Early indications are that the existing mains incoming cable can take 2,000 kVA, but the cost required may be for the transformer uplift and capacity actually on the site. So, as stated within the report, we require the budget to be able to award the contract as and when the final quotation comes through from the DNO. Hopefully that's helped answer the queries.
Thank you. Councillor Rawlings, anything else?
It plays into the other questions, whether there's any benefit to us in terms of asset value or lower running costs from the extra costs that we're investing in the site. I'm not expecting an answer in that now, but it would be an interesting thing to understand, I think, in the context of the total extra spend.
I'm not sure that you'd be able to answer that.
No, I'm not.
Andrew?
Yeah, the greater the electricity availability at any location will increase the asset value.
Exactly, yeah.
Councillor Heritage.
No, I think my question or comment was actually kind of tying in, because I think I just wanted to clarify. My understanding is that there is part of this is a contingency anyway, isn't it? And there may be, it may be that, for example, the electricity upgrade, that contingency isn't required, but I think that's been covered quite well already now.
That's correct, Chair.
Any further questions? No, I'm moving to debate. Does anyone have any issues that they want to raise concerning this? It's a very extensive document, and but it's a simple question at the end, which is, do we want to go ahead with this? So the recommendation, do you want to sum up, Councillor Barker, or shall I move straight into the recommendations?
Yeah, happy if Councillor Warden wishes to add anything, or otherwise just move straight to recommendations. Yeah.
Okay. So I think the recommendations are that the Cabinet recommends to Council to proceed with increasing the capital budget envelope by £2.3 million to provide a total of £15.9 million. As has been said, half of that relates to this Council. B is subject to Council approval of the increased budget envelope, award the contract to the preferred bidder to deliver the vehicle depot. C is delegates to the head of development and corporate landlord in consultation with head of finance and head of legal to approve terms and conditions with the DNO for the upgrade. And D delegates to the head of development and corporate landlord in consultation with the head of finance and legal authority to secure a temporary vehicle depot as a contingency plan should that be required. Can I see those in favour of those four recommendations? That's everyone. Okay, thank you. Moving on, and thank you, Andrew, for that. Item 12 is waste collection and the street cleansing contract. Again, there is confidential papers here. If you want to ask any questions, again, could you flag that up to me? And ideally, we'll try to hold the debate in public, unless we can't, but for some reason. Councillor James Lorry, would you like to introduce?
I would like to ask if it can be done in confidential session.
Okay. That because it being possible to discuss without looking at the.
I believe it would.
Okay. Monitoring officer. You okay with that? Okay.
I am fine with that, Chair. It's a matter for you and the members whether you think that something can or can't be reasonably debated in that way. The emphasis is always to try and do it in public if you can, for obvious transparency reasons. But equally, it's important that you are able to interrogate and challenge on things as you see fit. So I'm perfectly content with that if that's what you as a body vote to do.
Okay, this is the only item that's left on the agenda. So I think what we should do at this stage is note what the recommendations are, which is that Cabinet recommend to full Council that additional funds, as outlined in paragraphs 23 to 24, be made available within the relevant budget. And B, that subject to full Council agreeing the additional funds, approve and award the contract as outlined in the confidential appendix. And as this will be a joint contract with Vale, award a joint contract is dependent on reciprocal approval by the Vale. So that's what we need to discuss. As you would suggested, Councillor James Lorry, there are commercial matters involved there. So if I propose that we move into confidential session and exclude. Is there a formal wording?
If that's
Thank
okay.
you. I had a horrible feeling I was going to have to remember it. So it is to consider whether to exclude members of the press and public from the meeting for the following items of business under section 12A of the Local Government Act 1972 as amended on the grounds that one, it is likely that there will be disclosure of exempt information as defined in paragraph 3 of Schedule 12A, and 2, that public interest in maintaining the exemption outweighs public interest in disclosing the information. Presumably, Councillor James Lorry, that is what you're arguing. Okay, would you like to propose that?
I would like to propose that, yeah.
Would someone like to second it? Councillor Rollins, are people happy that we move to exclude the public on that basis?
Can I just say I'm a little quite taken by surprise because I'm always keen on transparency. So is there nothing we can discuss in the public domain before with items that we need to discuss in private session? I know in the past that's what we have done on issues.
I think with this one there's a lot of things that can be accidentally gone into that go into confidentiality.
Right.
So to me it would be easier to go straight into confidentiality and then
commercial issues here, I think.
So
too.
it's not a case that you plan to say things, but that it's quite possible that in questioning or in debate, people will say things which they don't realise are reaching. But
Yeah,
is that
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I just wanted to understand why, because I think it's very important for the public also to understand why.
I do agree. It's just it's a very, very large contract.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
okay? Can I see those in favour of that? That's everyone. That means that people online need to move out of this meeting and into. There is another meeting in the calendar, I believe.
Yeah, there should be a confidential session invite, so if officers are happy to move along.
Only those who have access to that can move into that, and we need to end the public streaming.
Yes, please. If we pause, Susie, are you able to stop the broadcast? Would you want to do the decision in public, or are you happy for us just to go that the minutes will obviously include the decision? So
decision in public would be best. The decision in public is best. It's just the discussing the contract.
If you can assure me that this is muted.
we're still going. Yeah, so if you can put the title card up. Thank you, Susie. We'll be back when we're ready to do the decision. Thank you. Cheers.
Okay, thank you.
So if you Thank you.
Thank you. And with apologies to any members of the public who are watching who were paused for a moment while we discussed an item under confidential confidential session. That item has been discussed extensively, and we're now ready to come back to the recommendations which are in the main pack. So the recommendations are that the Cabinet recommend to full council that additional funds, as outlined in the report, are made available within the relevant budget. That B, subject to full council agreeing the additional funds, approve the awarding of the waste contract and street cleaning contract as outlined in Appendix 1. And noting that as this contract is to be let jointly with the Vale, the award of a joint contract is dependent on it to also being approved by the Vale. So can I see those in favour of those recommendations? That is everyone. Okay. And with that, I think we close the meeting.
Yeah. Thank you, Susie. Happy to end the broadcast.